What's going on, everybody? It's the pregame show. I know I said I may not be doing one, but fuck it. I'm here. We're doing one. Live pregame show, Brooklyn Nets versus Chicago Bulls on ESPN. It's going down tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central. It's a late game tonight. I'm still going to have my halftime hangout, still going to have my postgame show, even though we'll see who's all there at the postgame show that doesn't start until midnight. We'll see. I'm not expecting a big turnout, but if you guys, especially depending on how this game goes, if the game goes down the wire, it's a big game, it's probably going to turn up. It's probably going to be more people there than what we're expecting. So, we'll see. We'll see. I have faith in this Bulls team. I'm still riding the high after having Locked On Bulls, Big Dave and Matt Peck in the building. Listen, I don't know what to say. Listen, this little project has grown a long way. It's come a long way in a very short amount of time, and I don't take that for granted at all. Like, having Big Dave and Matt on was a dream come true. Like, for real, I've been watching those guys, especially Matt Peck, and back when Jordan was on the show for years, listening to him, and then Big Dave, man, seeing him on when they had the Outsiders and things like that. It's humbling. It's honestly really humbling to have those guys on Chicago Bulls Central and the platform that I created to talk about this team that we all love in the Chicago Bulls. So that's where I'm at right now. Like I said, this is an impromptu pregame show. We'll have the halftime hangout, have the postgame show. Didn't really expect a big turnout. This is not usually a big turnout for pregame shows, but damn it, I had to do it. So I'm here. Any comments, any questions, anything like that? This is going to be a big game for our Chicago Bulls. I already talked about it in the pre-recorded video I did today. The Bulls are going to have to show up big time in this game. That's just what's going to have to happen. It's going to be a tough game. I expect to see this one come down the wire some. All right. Had to adjust some things. But, hey, I'm here for the pregame show. May have a guest on. We'll see. But, yeah, that's crazy. Having Matt Peck with Big Dave on was crazy, man. Crazy, bro. Live Wire Sports. What's good, bro? I missed your live earlier. It was honestly supposed to be a surprise. I probably could have gotten more views on it had I announced that it was going to be happening. But again, I wanted to surprise people. I've been teasing that it was going to be a big collab coming. So I wanted to surprise some people with it. So, it is what it is there. I'll take the hit on people not knowing to really surprise people. So surprise some people. The big three for the Nets play. I expected that. I said that last night when people were like, oh, well, they're questionable. Listen, that questionable thing is really just a tactic. I knew that they were going to be playing. They can't start slow at all. They can't afford to get off to a slow start. The Bulls are going to have to be locked in from tip-off to the end of the game, to the final buzz. They're going to have to be locked in. And I hope they don't let it get to them that they've beat the Nets 2 times before, because this is a different beast with Kyrie, even with LaMarcus out. They're going to have to be locked in full game, absolutely. Who else would you have on your show? Anybody. Like, literally, this platform is open up to any Chicago Bulls creative, any like you've seen, I've had fans on. I've had my friend VJ on, who's been a Bulls fan for life, who's not a person who creates Chicago Bulls content. I'm really on for anyone. I'm even on to have on guests from opposing teams. Like what I've said, my best friend's a Knicks fan, so I expect to have him on at some point. But I'm not against having conversations, especially for pregame shows, against fans and people who maybe create content for the opposing team. All of that. Let's go Bulls. Bring out the W out to Chi-Town. Listen, man, we at home. We got to have this. We got to have it. Yeah, I hear you talking about it yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I expected it. Exactly. Feed Vuce. Vuce definitely is going to have to get going early. Absolutely going to have to get going early. If they can get, the thing is, as I've said before, as we all know, right? Anybody who watches the team consistently, when Vuce is going, the offense is so much more versatile when he's going. And add in lines, we still have not seen a game where 4 of them have all been going on the same game. If that happens, and of course, this is unrealistically expected to happen every game, but if all 4 of those guys get going efficiently for a whole game, it's going to be hard to stop us. It's going to be hard to stop us for sure. I would like to get on your show. Live Wire Sports, hit me in the DM. I think you follow me on another platform, right? Is it Twitter? Hit me in the DM. We'll plan something. We'll definitely plan something. How do you think the Bulls will match up with the big three? Very curious who's going to defend Durant for the majority of the game. See, that's a match like if Patrick Williams were healthy or Javonte Green was healthy, it would really change some things, right? Because we know what they can do defensively. I really think it's going to be one of those games where they kind of almost have to let Durant go off and try to slow down everyone else. That's almost what I have to think. We'll see. We'll see. Levine needs to actually score this time, unlike against the Pistons. Well, listen, we didn't need it, right? Like, look at the way the margin in which we won that game in, and that's one of the joys of having the team that we have now, especially if Kobe's getting going, is that if one of the starters are having a slow night, we can make up for it. But I trust everyone's going to be locked in tonight. I trust everyone's going to be locked in tonight for sure, for sure. Without Caruso, we're going to struggle to get consistent stops. Our offense needs to be fire. I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Again, our defense is not great just because of Alex Caruso. Let's be clear on that. It's not just like he's, yes, a big part, but this team has more than enough in the way that they play team defense if they're locked in to be able to guard this team efficiently. Again, not stop anyone, but guard them efficiently. I want to see you with BKR Sport. It's going to happen at some point. It's going to happen at some point. Definitely. Hit me up. We'll do it. They need 30-plus assists just to stand a chance. They're undefeated. Yeah, we know they're undefeated when they score 30-plus points. They go bang. It's right on there. And more than just say, because it's easy to just say, go get 30 assists. They have to move the ball. They have to play and move the ball to keep the defense rotating. Listen, the Nets, as good as they are on offense, they're so-so on defense. If the Bulls can keep them and make them rotate on defense until they get the open shot and get great shots, it's going to be I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but that's what's make the Bulls way more dangerous as a team. So, yes, they need to get to that. They need to stay locked in and do those type of things for sure, for sure. Since their win streak, the Bulls have been 20. Yes, we know. No, it's not. Again, this team, Billy Donovan wasn't coaching out there. He's back to being focused, and he's highlighted defense and talked about defense a lot. So because of that, I trust that this team is going to be okay. I trust that it doesn't worry me because I trust this team's resiliency, and they know the stage that they're on today. They know that they're on ESPN, which don't get a lot of nationally televised games. They know that they're facing the team that many predicted to be the best team in the NBA, not only just the East. They know all these things. The Bulls are going to show up. They're going to be locked in tonight. If they're not locked in, they're not going to win. It's just period. It's just period. This isn't one of those games where you can win just based off luck. The Bulls have to be locked in for all minutes out there today, period. Well, we can use Derrick Jones Jr. or Alfonso. Listen, I know people like McKinney, and I know I don't know how much McKinney plays in a tight game like this, but Derrick Jones Jr. I trust a lot for sure. And don't forget, Troy Brown Jr. has been playing some good defense for us as well. Ball movement, good effort, and Vucevic are our keys tonight. Get Vuce going early. I'm sick of people saying we need Alex. We won 10 out of the last 11 without him. I think people are more so saying the defensive effort. It has been different for sure. And Alex is a very versatile defensive weapon. Is Alex Caruso a top 5 player on our team? I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say. No, I may have to take that back. I think he's definitely one of the top 5 players on this team. I didn't really think about that. Yes, I agree. No ISO, pass, and defense for sure. Dominic, is it true that they want? No. Again, and even in the reports they said that they would be open. I don't trust that this team. Again, listening to deals is different than actively going out and looking for deals. I'm sure the AK and Eversley listen to a lot of deals that come their way. Doesn't mean that it's stuff that they're initiating. So we'll see. What's up, Haize? I didn't miss Presley Roosevelt, did I? Nick Friedel was on WMVP with Waddle and Civi. He was backtracking like he was moonwalking. LOL, light his ass up when you get the chance. First of all, Milton, if you can send me any clips from that, I'll gladly take it. I don't really. Okay, here's my thing. I know Waddle and Civi is huge, and I listen to like clips of them sometimes, but I don't really like the way Waddle and Civi as a whole cover sports. I know that's blasphemy for Chicago sports. I really don't care. Like, it's not that I hate them, right? They're probably, if I had to make a top 15 list of Chicago sports creatives or content creators, they're probably not even in that top 15. But I understand that they do get a lot of great interviews for sure. Our defense efficiency has taken a hit without him. He alone is not our defense, I agree, but he's a game changer. Yes, he's definitely a factor and a big factor in what we do defensively. Don't forget, we're missing Javonte Green as well. He's a big factor in that too. Yo, Haize, what I've noticed is that YouTube doesn't send out stream notification unless you had them pre-listed, like the halftime and post. Yeah, I've noticed that too. And even then, like my pre-records aren't going out as much anymore either. My pre-recorded videos, like I said before, I think it's because of the growth of the channel. Like literally, we've doubled subscribers in like a 3-week period. That is a very short amount of time to gain like another 2,000 plus subscribers. So I'm sure that they're trying to monitor to make sure nothing funny is going on there. They even took like on one live stream, I gained like 80 subscribers on the live stream, and then they took some back. I think just making sure or whatever. So we'll come out of it. We'll come out of it. But yeah, they're definitely doing that. Io looking more like a young Kawhi than Pat Will. I wouldn't say young Kawhi, but I get what you're saying with that. Honestly, our bench has the most to prove tonight. They need to show consistency and good performance or exceed them, not just Io and Kobe either. Listen, if this Bulls bench can get to scoring 50 points like they did before, I would say this. If the Bulls bench scores 25 to 30 points in this game as a whole, and we know Kobe can get 20 by himself and Io can get 10 or 15, and if he gets hot, more than that too. But I would say if the Bulls bench gets closer to 30 points, I trust that we're going to win that game. That's all I'm going to say with that. Say, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. If you could think of one, I'm not sure if you're new here. I'm not doing any more trade talk until the actual trade deadline. So I'm sorry, like it gets bombarded with trade talk. So I'm actually not talking trades right now. That's my point. We got the big four on the Bulls, and then Caruso, and then we have a bench mob. I miss him too. I miss his energy and everything out there. Let's go hype for this game. Absolutely, Yang. Absolutely. Comment 1 from 3. Not sure if you know, mention this or not, but Brooklyn has listed Kyrie Irving and James as available to play tonight again. Yes, we talked about that. Glad they shut down trading Patrick Williams. Bro is going to be a star. Hey, I've been saying that for the longest. Not blasphemous at all. Chicago radio, TV, sports personalities are obnoxious, reactionary, and lacking in real analysis. I come to YouTube for the community, much better platform for real Bulls fans. Alexander, I agree with you, and that was before I was a Bulls content creator. I've said it before. Locked on Bulls for sure. Windy City Breeze, Aiden Sports Show. Bull Central for sure as far as YouTubers. Then when you have just the podcast side as well, like I've been listening to Doug Tonis and the Bulls beat for Jesus, it feels like almost a decade at this point. But yeah, Bulls, yeah, for sure. I don't really do the radio personalities anymore. Pat Will is physically built like Kawhi. Both are 6'8" with 7-foot wingspans. Yeah, for sure. Io is not Kawhi. I think they're talking about more as far as impact, not play style. I think Smear 60. Let's see. Nah, bro, I agree. I just looked upon him being on the show. I don't like the way they do sports radio either. You need to have a national radio show, bro. Can't wait for you to do the Bears next season. Hey, the Bears show is coming sooner rather than you think. Especially like once they make a coaching decision, that may be my first video. But I may wait as well. Especially because we're in the height of the Bulls right now. But yeah, so I mean, you're not going to get Windy City Breeze with like covering all Chicago sports from me, but you will get Chicago Bulls, Chicago Sky, and Chicago Bears from me next season. Pray for me. Do you think Lonzo is our best? Yeah, he's definitely our best three-point shooter. You doing it late? Yes, I am. I will have a half. So the halftime hangout will be around the time that our post-game shows usually are. And then I'll be doing a post-game show. It'll be like after midnight. So Eastern Conference time. I'm in the Eastern Conference. I'm in EST. So I'm an hour ahead of Central time. So it'll be 11 Chicago time. But yeah, we're going to still have both shows. Huge game tonight, a chance to open a lot of eyes on national television. Let's get it done. Yes, and it's going to really change. Like, don't forget, don't be surprised if you see a big swing in all-star votes for the Bulls if they win this game. I mean, I know DeMar's already leading on guards, but don't be surprised if they get a lot more votes in a condensed amount of time, for sure. Not really doing deal talk. We got our guest. Ricky Fontaine is coming in the building. Hold on, let me put on my headphones so I can hear him. Mr. Fontaine. Can you hear me? All right, we'll wait for him to work out his audio. Yep, post-game stream is definitely happening. Bulls Nation gobbles go. Oh, what's going on, Ricky? What's going on, brother?
Yo. What's going on, boys?
All right, hey man. So we're on the pregame show. We're gonna be on here for about another 15 minutes, man. Let me ask you this: how excited are you for tonight?
Yes, sir. Extremely excited. I want to see what how we hold up to a big opponent. Hopefully, they're full
Mhm.
strength. There will be no excuses. We beat them to zip, and let's see how everything is. Even though I love for Caruso to be there to take duties, Kyrie and James Harden, but this is still an exciting match for tonight.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's gonna be a big game, man. It's gonna be a big game. I listen. I'll say this, and let me not. You know what? I'm not even gonna talk about. I was gonna say something, but I don't even want to put that out in the universe. So I'm gonna let it go. We're gonna go ahead and move on. We're gonna go to some more comments, man. Let's go to some more comments. Samir60 asks if I'm a white. Yes, I am absolutely a White Sox fan. Ricky, do you follow more Chicago sports? Or I know you live in Detroit. Like, do you follow more Chicago teams, or is it just the Bulls teams?
Oh, you broke up. What you just say? Do I follow who else?
I, Do you follow other Chicago sports teams, or is it just the Chicago Bulls that you follow?
Just the Bulls. Yeah, just the Bulls.
Just the Bulls. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's go to this one, and I
Yeah,
fall back on this a
yeah.
lot, even when
I'm an early '80s baby, so
we have an audio delay, so you may be hearing me late a little bit, Ricky. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I'm going to get into this next question. It makes sense to
yeah.
trade Kobe
I'm
if
about to
Zach
switch
gets a
over
super
to my
max.
other than that.
All right, go ahead, go do that and come back. All right, we'll wait on Ricky to come back. But it makes sense to trade Kobe if Zach gets a supermax and Kobe's contract is too expensive. Listen, the benefit of that is that you can do both. The Bulls have the luxury of going into the tax to keep Kobe, and if that happens, if this team is a championship team, and the Reinsdorfs have been saying that they will pay the luxury tax for a championship team, that's null and void. Keep in mind, not only Zach's contract goes into supermax, but also Vooch comes off that season as well. We have Derrick Jones Jr. and Troy Brown Jr. and big contracts like that will be off. They'll be re-signed to smaller deals. So it's a world in which they both happen. Ricky, can you hear me now?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. You good?
All right, there we go. No delay, no delay. Yes, that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. All right, let's get back into these comments. Let's go to King Austin. Vooch needs to, and must take advantage of his huge mismatch and use it to give the Bulls an upper hand on offense. What do you think about Vooch? How important is Vooch in tonight's matchup?
Tonight's matchup is actually big, especially if it's no Nicholas Claxton and LaMarcus Aldridge is out. So he has to take
Mm.
full advantage of the fact that there is no opposing center of him. I would like to see him duplicate what he did yesterday in the third quarter, where he took advantage of seeing that Brissett was just, Isaac was just a little too small for him. So I would love to see that.
All right, cool. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that as well. Like, I think this is going to be a game where Vooch, I said everybody has to be locked in, but Vooch, a lot of the times where Vooch is mismatched negatively, right? The fact that this team has a lack of size tonight, Vooch is going to have to eat, and he's going to have to feast very, very hard. And if he does that, I'm telling you right now, I've already said it. I don't know if you were on the stream or not when I said it. If the Bulls bench scores 30 or more points, I think I said between 25 and 30 points, I think we're locked. But if Vooch has another damn near flirting with a triple double and 20 to 25 point game with efficient scoring, it's going to be a very interesting night in the favor of the Bulls. What do you think?
Well, people need to understand that a lot of times when Vucevic isn't scoring, he has a mismatch in the post, and they double him, so he automatically passes. He knows exactly where the double
Mm-hmm.
team is coming from. That's why he is so quick and decisive on his passes. And people complain because they say, "Oh, why'd you pass when you had a guard on him?" Well, because one of the other people had cut so quick that he seen the pass, or he gave it to an open three, and we are shooting number one in the league at the 3 point percentage. So he's making the right plays. It's just he's not pounding the ball and doing what old school basketball wants to see. So definitely, but yeah, back to your point about the bench, I'm confident that Kobe can give us 15, and if the rest of the bench just follows suit, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing, and this is the question that I want to ask. Right, who on the Nets keep everything in mind that Kobe's going to be playing mainly against the reserves. What the fuck are they going to do with Kobe White?
Nothing. They played terrible defense. Like,
Yeah.
and there's no shot blocking. There's no rim protection. Their probably best rim protector is Kevin Durant. Kobe is throwing up floaters from the free throw line now. Like his game has progressed so much. Like he's everything that needed to go right is clicking now. Like he's not worried about that shoulder, whatever it is now. He got his legs, everything. So I don't think there's nobody on like what Patty Mills, those Ben Breeze. Like nobody can stop him. It's just up to
Yeah,
him hitting the shots.
for sure, for sure. Let's keep Brooklyn Nets rank 12th in defense and 11th in offense. The Bulls now, with their recent stretch, now rank 4th in offense and 9th in defense. Listen here. It's going to be a very interesting night and long night just to see how everything works out. But I'm telling you, and again, I don't want to get overly confident. It's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. But if the Bulls are locked in, it's going to get very interesting. Like you said, Nets aren't great on defense. I don't want to hear nothing. Like them having to guard, especially if Lonzo's hot, Vooch, Zach DeMar, and then have somebody like Kobe, and don't let Io get on the roll either. We're starting to see with Io, if he gets going early and gets on the roll, that confidence gets going with him, and he's dangerous to stop as well. The Bulls have more than enough in the tank. More than enough in the tank.
Listen, IO confidence gets bigger every game. Like if you think about it, did you see like when Lonzo gave him the ball at 3-point line, he just jacked it. He just immediately pulled the shot. He
Yeah.
was not doing that at the beginning of the season. He was thinking about it. Heck, even last week he was thinking about it. That's why Bradley Beal told him two things, like you just got to go and everything like that. So his confidence builds up. Every mistake, every piece of advice you can give him, he is a sponge. He soaks it in and he makes sure he does it the very next possession whenever he gets a chance to. So, yeah, I'm definitely on that, and I'm definitely willing to see him guard people because if you notice, Billy Donovan is giving him the Pat Will plans that he gave last year to Pat Will. He is putting him on the best player every time, and he is slowly becoming Drew Holiday.
Listen, all things aside, I know I talk very heavily about like what his next contract and stuff could look like since he's only on a 2-year deal. But let me say this right now: fuck all that. Well, I don't give a damn what happens with that. Io is amazing, and right now he is showing. I may. We'll have to do a redraft at some point, but honestly, at this point right now, you would think Io, if we're doing a redraft of that
If
first
it's a
round,
redraft, he's top 15.
I'm willing to say maybe top 8.
I have to look at the list.
Yeah, I
I
mean
have to
we'd
look
have
at
to
the
go
list
over, but man, listen.
because we know K's still gonna go first.
Yeah, of
Then you got
course, of
Mobley
course.
second, Scotty Barnes third. It do get a little tricky because you probably have to say like Franz Wagner, Stacey King, little whatever
True, true,
will be four.
true.
But yeah, you're right. Maybe somewhere like 5 through 9, we would have to look at that, revisit that because his stats isn't showing on the sheet what his impact is. Like we got
Yeah,
a
for
true
sure.
leader here, and it's crazy that he's a leader because he is pulling Demar, who is 11 years his senior, and calming him down. But that's one
Yeah,
thing that I think that staying in college gets you is leadership and everything like that. Because if you notice people that stay in college a while, like him, Draymond, Joe Kim, they just come out leaders.
yeah. That's a good point there. That's a good point. Let's get into this comment from my boy BKR Sport. Been a minute, took a kickback from everything for a few days, which you should, especially for mental health or just personal health. Like, yeah, take a step back from time to time. But he says, back to it tonight. This is the real start of our contenders talk season. We win 2 of 3 of Nets, Warriors, Bucks. You can count it. All right, what do you think about that, Ricky? You think the Bulls are going to be able to pull 2 out of 3 against that competition?
Let me see. Warriors, I think we might get them. I don't think they have Draymond. And
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I have a problem with the Warriors, they see us and just get happy. I don't know what it is. When they come to our arena, they just can shoot. Clay gonna be back, and I pray this is not his Clay totally back game.
Yeah.
The Bucks is tricky because their strength is our weakness. So you just wonder like what's going to be the game plan for Giannis. I know 1-on-1 nobody can face him, but we're going to team defend him, and if we treat him like we did Anthony Davis the first game against the Lakers, then we got a chance because Chris Middleton is just going to have to show and prove. I'm not sure if Drew Holiday is going to be there. So we got a fair matchup at that one. So I'm really feeling confident about our chances, and they doubted us our first gauntlet of teams when we had a bunch of tough teams.
Yeah.
And this whole team, I've said over and over, they got just a chip on their shoulder, and they here to prove it.
For sure. I mean that. Yep, we've had that since the offseason. You're absolutely right. Tarek says, I think the blowout versus the Pistons gave so much lift to the team just before the Nets Warriors back to back. We will know a lot after these two games. Listen, even outside of that, we got Memphis coming up as well. We got a potential trap game after the Warriors game against Boston, who I know Boston is ranked 10th in the East, but listen, don't sleep on Boston. If you overlook them to get to Memphis, or even if you're tired after these two games, that can easily be a trap game for the Bulls. Ricky, I'm asking you this. The Bulls have a gauntlet coming up. It's a lot of tough playoff quality teams that we're coming up against in the next handful of days. Outside of this Brooklyn game, because this happened today, what game are you most excited to see?
Memphis, because they are hot.
Yeah.
They are so hot, and Ja Morant is. Let me just go on the record and say he is the most competitive person in the NBA right now. He wants to let everybody know he is the best player on the floor every game. We seen it yesterday. It is something about him when he sees Steph Curry. We seen him the play-in game, and he didn't win the last 2 out of 3 against Golden State. Well, last 3 out of 4 against Golden State. We count last year. So I want to see that. They got some real low-budget players. They actually, they grind hard like us. So it's going to be in a weird way, some type of a mirror match. So that's going to be a real chess match. It's really probably going to come down to coaching and lack of turnovers. But I will say this: Caruso should be back. So if you put Ayo, he always, I don't want to say struggle against Zoe, but Zoe plays good defense on Ja. So throwing Ayo, Zoe, and Caruso on him with a little bit of Troy Brown, that could be something good.
For sure. I agree with you 100% there. Somebody just came in with Nick Tolliver. Just came in with some facts that I hadn't read yet. Clay isn't playing against us. He's playing tonight, so they're resting him for our game. Hey, what do you think that means? And Draymond is already going to be out during that game. Do you think
Draymond's going to be out.
Do you think they look at it like, hey, we already blew the Bulls the fuck out the water, so go ahead and sit Clay? Or do you think they look at it like maybe they have more than enough to still compete with us? What do you think that means for the Bulls against their matchup against the Warriors coming up in a couple of days?
I don't think the Warriors are taking us for granted. I just think that they don't want to put too much on Clay's table. Usually when a player comes back, they make sure they don't play him in back-to-back games and stuff like that. So they don't want to risk it. Like, think about it. He had 2 major surgeries. Like, of course, the ACL surgery isn't as tough as it used to be, but the Achilles surgery is still very tough. So they don't want to risk that with their championship hopes. So they'll if worse come to worse, they'll just take the L because they don't want to lose him for the season or overwork him. So we got to take advantage of that. We got to take advantage of that, and we got to beat them. Like they don't have, like, of course Steph's their best player, but Draymond is the engine. He is sitting there setting screens for Steph. Like I said, he's a leader. He keeps their head in check, all that. So we have to take advantage, and we have to not shut down, but we have to contain Steph to the point where we can win. And stop Jordan Poole, because it's always somebody that we go against that just has a great night against us, and it irritates me all the time. It's always the person who you don't think have a great game, so we just got to do that.
For sure. All right, let's get into this next comment, and this is one that I want to talk about because maybe I'm off, right? I always say that my opinion holds no more weight than anyone else's. Alex De La Cruz says y'all are sleeping on McKinney. This is my thing with McKinney. I look at the stats. McKinney's had positive scoring games the time he's been on the Bulls. Last night, which came in completely garbage time, and the Rockets. Other than those games, McKinney is shooting less than 20% when you take out those 2 games. Bro, let me know what you think. Like, that's 7 games. 2 out of 7 games he's been effective in as far as scoring-wise. What do you think? I'm sleep on McKinney? What's your opinion on Alfonso McKinney, how he could contribute to this team?
I don't think you sleep on him. Maybe a little bit of going by the stat sheet, because from Toronto to Golden State and everything, he's been a positive player. He's been a plus minus player. He has shown that he is somewhere around 38 to 40 percentile when it comes to shooting threes, and he can't penetrate. He's very athletic. So what I will say is we probably won't see much of him for the season, but if he actually could develop a rhythm with us, that he would be pretty good, because, like I said, he's athletic. He's 6'7", and Billy Donovan, when you're 6'7", you can play 2, 3, and 4. So if anything comes worse, he's going to be somewhere around that, like I said, like how Caruso's injured and all of that, and like I said, he's probably out of all those like Matt Thomas's and Troy Brown, he shoots the three the best. He's a good ball handler, and on top of that, he finishes very well around the rim. So I want to say he's a little bit underestimated.
I'm open. I know I don't have all the answers. I'm just, like I said, I look at it like, and that's why I said specifically offensively. He does some really good things defensively. He's a veteran, right? So you trust him on both sides of the balls.
But he's very long, and you got to know Billy loves long players. Like, because that was one thing I was always worried about with Kobe White was because he's not long. If you look, he has T-Rex like arms. But since he's playing so good,
a big thing in the year he was drafted. They were talking about how short his arms are for sure.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like it's not as short as people think. It's just actually his actual height. So it's 6'5" and he's 6'5". So like no big thing there. But I think he's a Billy Donovan type of player. So don't be surprised if you see him get worked in because he does shoot well and he is athletic and he runs. And Billy likes us to run. So but Troy is playing so good these past couple games, I don't know if we'll be seeing him much, but he'll definitely get time over Matt Thomas.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, Matt Thomas is the end of the bench player. Let's go back to BKR Sport. I want to play the best players. I hate players being out for teams, which provides excuses for when the Bulls whoop them. West Coast folk got beat once, but now Golden State would have an excuse when we turned it. I mean, technically, we would have had an excuse too. We weren't at our full capability then either. But this is the NBA. I look at it like, yes, I agree with the BKR Sport. I want us to face the best competition possible because I'm not one of those people like, oh, yes, the player's going to be out. Now we can get an easy win. I don't want that. I want us to be playoff tested. I want us to be battle tested. I want us to play against the best competition possible. Where do you fall with that, Ricky Fontaine?
I mean, my thing is this: who is all healthy this entire year?
That's true.
Which team?
That's true.
So
has there been a team
there's none.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly.
Somebody's either hurt or in protocols. People need to stop with this narrative that we are bum beaten. Like we don't have what do we have? 26 wins or 27?
27 wins now, I believe.
So we be 2017 that was hurt. I don't think so. Like, and the teams that beat us, we've been hurt all this year, and we only got 10 losses or 11. So
yeah,
like
11 losses. Yeah.
Exactly. So like everybody in the NBA has somebody missing. Like just like tonight against Kyrie's questionable, James Harden's questionable, Nick Claxton's questionable. You know, we don't have Caruso. We don't have Pat Wheel the whole year. So, like, nobody is really going to be healthy. This whole year is full of attrition. Whoever is the most attrition team is going to win the championship. It don't even have to be by the talent.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to a lot of things, but we got the talent and the heart to do so. But we're gonna get off that. We're gonna get off that. Let's see what else we got. Let's go to this comment here. Steak Old Bang says, I like McKinney, but he replaced Haize and he barely got time. He's definitely better, but he took a spot that is barely used unless injury. I think that's a good point to be made, but I do think that depending on the matchups, we're seeing a lot of Troy Brown Jr. because he's playing good right now. If Troy Brown Jr. goes back or regresses or anything like that, I think it's easy to make minutes for McKenzie. Or if you need more scoring without giving much up defensively, you can still bring in McKinney. We'll see. But I do think that McKinney isn't going to usually get a lot of minutes on this team if everything's going well, and especially when everyone gets healthy with that. But he's still a good player to have in your toolbox to be able to bring out when you do need somebody who you can trust to play defense, right? Trust to at least work in the offensive system, even if their shots aren't falling, where you couldn't do any of that with Haize Johnson. I still do think Haize, if he gets on the team and he stays on the team that has the time to invest in his development, I still think Haize is going to turn into a hell of a bench player. Never anything more than that, but I think he has the capability to do that. What do you think about all that, Ricky?
How can I put it best? It's going to be like I like McKinney. Like I do. I really have a lot of. I've done his background thing. Like he has a great story about him not being in the league. He played in like some small league that like 30 people was coming to his games, and then he paid $150 to try out for a G League team, and he made it all up like that. The problem is that we're just very wing heavy right now. And this isn't 2K when you sub out 5 people and you put in 5 other people. You stagger in people. So like Zach stays in, and then later on, like DeMar replaces Zach and everything, because you still just want somebody to keep scoring. So that would be the spot there where people wish that McKinney would be at, and it just won't happen unless like everybody's really tired or somebody is hurt. Like, it's good to have him as a backup, but like I said, Caruso will be back, and that's going to be anywhere from the backup 1, 2, or 3. We got Kobe, who's the backup 1 or 2. You got Io, who you just must play again. So those are 3 of the guard wing players right there, and and then Troy Brown is playing so good. So it's just going to be so hard, especially when you amount Derrick Jones Jr. So it's just hard to play him, but he's talented.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Let's go to Jonathan's comment here. LaVine is going to go off tonight. He's hungry for the limelight. I don't know if he's hungry for the limelight, but best believe he knows everyone on this team is going to understand their assignment tonight for sure. My question to you then is, Ricky, how big of a night do you see Zach LaVine going for? And then to add another layer on top of that, how many points does DeMar and LaVine combine for tonight?
The usual 50.
It's crazy that we can say that, right? Isn't it crazy that we can say, oh, our top 2 will go for their usual 50 together? That's crazy. But go ahead, keep going on.
I mean, he was 3 for 10 last night. I don't think he's going to overdo it just because of last night, because he's been a team first type of player. I just think he's just going to have his natural 26 points a game, shooting 50% and 42% from 3. Like, it's just, how can you not just, this is the usual, this is the norm. And DeMar, he kind of got his groove back the past couple games. So, like, who's going to guard DeMar? Kyrie? James Harden? Mr. Bembry? Bruce Brown? Like, it's again, there's nobody for him. Like, so we'll see them go with 50. The thing is I don't want to even call it a problem. Who's going to be the third guy? Is it going to be Zoe? Is Vooch going to be Vooch? I'm looking for them both to be themselves. So I'm still looking for the usual, like 50 to 55 from LaVine and DeMar. It's just what we know.
For sure. I agree with you. Listen, they're going to have a big night tonight. They're going to need to have a big night tonight. Listen, this game is going to be bananas. I think there's going to be over 250 points scored between both teams tonight. That's what I think is going to happen.
You said 200?
250. Over 250.
Oh, 250? Oh, yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
Between both, that's combining both teams. That's combining both teams.
Okay, yeah, because we scored 250, of course. But yeah, I mean, that'd be like an old school 80s, like Denver versus Pistons game, if anybody know about that. Like, like that'd be an exciting game. But I just hope we just beat them really bad and convincingly.
Yeah, definitely. I would even take a close one. As long as we win, I don't care. Who do you all?
You know what? I'd rather be a close one too, just so they know, like they can't mess with us no matter what the circumstances. Like, we're just better.
Like one of those games where it feels like the Nets, like they feel like they can get in it, or they feel like they can take the lead late, and then like in like the last 4 minutes or whatever, the Bulls just take over the lead.
Yeah, like the second game.
Yeah, like demoralizing victory. That's what I want to see today.
Like that second game. Go ahead.
The Greatest asks, who do you all think is the Bulls' X factor for the postseason? I'm gonna let you take this one away first.
Oh my goodness, that is tough. I mean, it's Zoe. Because we've seen so much what DeMar does and what Zach does. Like, that's just a given, and we should just expect this out of Vooch, even though he's having this seesaw type of season. But Zoe is the X factor there. If he consistently scores around like 16 to 17 points, he's the one that puts us over. So, because I actually even expect Kobe to be Kobe. So it's somewhere between like Kobe and Zoe, but I'm leaning more towards Zoe because he's so much of the engine for us. Like, he's so much needed. So I'm gonna go with Zoe.
Okay, I like that pick. I would say this, right? Let me qualify this answer. I think that, because whatever our top 4 players do, we know their capability. So I don't really look at them as an X factor unless like somebody does something completely out their role. Like if Zoe in a series takes over and we're running our offense completely through him and he goes on a tear where he's getting damn near triple doubles for the whole series,
gotcha.
That's something that I would qualify as an X factor, because that's just not usually how we play them. But when I think of X Factor, I'm looking at somebody who can step outside of what they usually do and really turn a series. And here's the point, and this is not me trying to put too much on him because he's a rookie, but because of Ayo's versatility, I think that not, and I'm not saying in the whole playoffs, but I think there's going to be a series if the Bulls go on a long run that Ayo is going to have a 3 to 4 game stretch where literally we may look at him and be like, he had the most impact on almost of any player in a series. And I just think his versatility on that. I think his hunger as well. I think like some players may overlook him at certain times because of, listen, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then like
you understand. I love that boy. Like you do not get it. Like I really, and that's probably why I didn't want to say his name because I just don't want to keep saying Ayo, because I really like Zoe right now is my favorite Bull, but like Ayo is like just creeping up there because he just does everything right. He learns. It's like he's not combative with what you tell him. He's just sitting there nodding. It's like he's and that's why I said like he's turning into what they wanted Patrick Williams to be, but it's not because Patrick Williams is dead. It's just Patrick Williams is hurt. So I definitely understand that, and he is that person that every time he has a like 13-point game, we just win and we win convincingly. So I definitely understand. Like he's kind of like the first time the Spurs went to the championship with Kawhi Leonard, where it was like you knew you had Ginobili, Tim and Tony was gonna do their thing, but when Kawhi balled, that's when it was the X factor. So I get it.
Yeah, for sure. This is a funny ass comment, but one that once I read it, I was like, this makes sense. B-Boy 563 says headband Caruso gives me Tommy Egan vibes. It ain't been a truer statement made. This is a comment of the fucking night. Like,
listen. And you know what's crazy? Caruso wants all the smoke.
All the smoke.
You remember when he told us? Like he said, I want all the smoke. Because they said that Caruso has told people things like, hey, put me on him. He's not going to score. So, yeah. He could be Tommy Egan for sure. He
listen,
like I said, he wants the smoke. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Like I said, he wants to smoke. He wants to guard the best player. He is a pest. Like he is on people, and it's like every time. Like usually when people say, "Hey, he reaches too much," and that means he gets beat. He reaches too much, and he gets the ball. Like he is irritating. Like Ayo irritating, but Caruso just be on you to the point where he's just gonna take that ball from you, and then he going down. He's trying to dunk on you. He's trying to finish you. Then he over there, like I said, he doing the headband signal. So yeah, I definitely get it. I get that comparison.
And the thing is that there is absolutely I see a world in which at some playoff series, the thing that changes the tide of the series, and not because Javonte is going to be playing bad or anything, that Billy Donovan is going to say, especially if Ayo and Kobe are still giving up the same production, and then even if you bring Javonte off the bench, he's going to give you some too. But a thing that may change the series defensively, is if Billy Donovan says, Caruso, I'm going to start Caruso, Lonzo, Levine, and DeMar out there with Vooch, and we're just going to outrun the fuck out of we're going to smother everybody, and when we get transition, we're just going to run the shit out of everybody, and we're going to pass it and look like Showtime Lakers out there. And it's going to happen, and it may only happen in the game in the series, but I'm telling you, at some point in the playoff series, we're going to see those five starting out there, and the Bulls are just going to say, scoring us if you want to, but guess what? You better get every rebound, because if we get out in transition, you can't do shit with us. What do you think about that?
That happened in OKC when it was Schroeder, Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and a couple other people. So I definitely can see that because Billy trusts that team defensively, and because no matter how good of a coach Billy is offensively, he plays defense. And when you got these competitive people out here, like. So you're definitely going to see it because, like I said, Zoe ain't scared of nobody. Caruso ain't scared of nobody. Those are two main people. And like you said, so and then when you get Zach and DeMar out there offensively, then you definitely can see that brewing. And like I said, when you throw in Ayo in the middle of that somewhere, like you're just going to see it. And even when you throw in Kobe, who just I got to give a shout out to Kobe because I always said, like, if he not scoring, he kind of useless. But
Mhm.
he picked up his game to the fact where he's not out of position on defense. He's competing hard. He's diving for loose balls. He's jumping even as hard as he can for a rebound. So even there, like you getting so much competitive people out there. So and Billy's loving that. That's why they're getting more minutes. So definitely can happen.
Definitely. All right, let's see what else we got here. We're gonna start wrapping it up here. Got some stuff to do before I get ready for the game. Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to find a good comment. Karis in here says the Bulls have the best built roster in the league. I think we are past the Cinderella stage. I think that it's time to start having real title hopes for this roster. Hey, welcome to the party. This is Chicago Bulls Central. We've been having real title hopes for this roster. Ricky, what do you think?
From your mouth to God's ears, brother.
I
Because,
know he's still in my shit, man.
but no, I'm very modest. So it's like I feel like if I say that in my own parallel universe, I'm gonna jinx myself. But
Okay.
I so much. But I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now, and it's just we just need that minor move, not a major move, and not the word need. It's just it's just going to be something that should be done to where we combat because, like I said, like those two beasts, Giannis and Embiid, we just gonna have to do something to where we attain them. But it's not going to be no. I don't want a Kobe trade. I don't want a Pat Will trade. It's just going to be something minor. And like I'm a fan of the buyout thing, which I wasn't at first. And we just need to just stop saying we need this, we need that, and just let Arturis, Mark Eversley, and JJ Pope do their thing because they haven't steered us wrong once yet. This is a turnaround in a year.
That's a good point.
So stop being my GM players on 2K and just let them do their thing.
And that's what it is. And AK and Eversley we trust, and that's it. Man, that's it. Ricky, go ahead and give him your social media, man. Listen, I got to spend some time between now and the game and the start of the game because I'm gonna do 5 videos by the end of the day. I already did my pre-recorded video that I dropped. I did the video, the stream with Locked On Bulls. Now this one, I got a halftime and a post-game live show to do. So let me save my voice. Ricky, go ahead and give them your social media. Let them follow you, man. Let's get the hell up out of here.
Oh Lord, I got so many they not related, but Twitter, which I'm really trying to get involved in. So please, it is Badmon Screen, like BADMON_screen.
What?
You didn't know that?
I have never paid attention to that, bro. Like that's a wild
Probably
ass
because you just
name.
see. Probably because you just see. Hey, because Twitter. Like I just joined Twitter last
Yeah,
year, so all names taken. So you
that
just
is
sit there and just
hilarious.
type stuff. So yeah, Badmon. Badmon Screen because my nickname is Screen. Um,
Okay.
so that one. Instagram, which I just started. I will follow everybody on this and Instagram. Is MAHCUS underscore DAHLING is Marcus Darling. Because my real name is Marcus. My whole life I've been teased from Boomerang from Eartha Kitt going Marcus Darling. I don't have any panties on. So it is that. Facebook is simple. Marcus Boyd with a Q, QUES. So those are my 3. I promise I'll
Bro,
accept. I promise
first of
I'll
all,
follow back.
listen, man, my brother, like you gotta have a cheat sheet to remember your goddamn user's name. Get your shit together, bro. We're gonna have to have a
Yo, you
meeting
know
about
what?
your branding, bro.
I'm going to change my handle on that to my say what on Instagram. I promise. But I promise, y'all follow me. I will follow back. I basically talk Bulls, and if anybody a Chargers fan, which I doubt, I talk about that too.
All right, fellas. And families, thank you so much for joining us for this impromptu pregame show. This is Chicago Bull Central. Make sure you're following us at Bull Central Pod on every social media platform. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail or a text, you can do so at 773-270-2799. That's it from us. Like I like to end every episode on. Go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace.
Peace. Love y'all.